Test.
Starting to stream to YouTube. Let's get this wrote on the show. Turn the volume down. I'm getting a pretty bad stream. I may not be able to do this over the Wi-Fi here, so.
All right.
See what
Or
happens
it'll be
if I.
janky.
Oh, I don't want that full size. That's silly. All right, let's see what happens if I hit start streaming. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of Nerd Week Live. Hopefully you're seeing us, or you're going to be able to see us soon. I am streaming live over Wi-Fi from a hotel, and I see some people in here. I don't see our stream actually running on the preview. So, folks, hopefully you can see us or hear us. Oh, I'm seeing something happening. I don't see our stream actually running on the. And I hear my voice. Still not seeing any video. Come on. Hey, you know what? It would help if I transitioned our screen over to the right place in the open broadcast studio. So, folks, now, welcome to this week's Nerd Week Live. So I'm running this on a laptop on a hotel. You know what? I didn't even turn on my cool blue light. Oh, well, never mind. So I don't have my two screens, and I'm not going to be able to bounce back and forth quite as easily. Thank you, Luminous. Welcome, Luminous. Gotcha Dragon. Hello, Sarah. Hello. And Sarah, you have a question? Fire it away. Master of Roblox. Hello. George Not Smith 2, I only begin to watch The Watchmen when it bears the Alan Moore seal of approval, since he has said that will never, ever happen, that no adaptation should ever be made of any of his works. Don't know what to tell you.
Oh,
wow. Sarah, would I rather watch Suicide Squad or Batman? Depends on the Batman. That's, there's too many out there. You need to narrow that one down. But anyway. Let's do the regular stuff. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. Also, first-person shooter on Facebook when it comes to cosplay photography. Burly Adopter on Twitter. Burly_adopter. And joining me tonight, live from the warm climes of the beautiful Mill City of Lowell.
what up?
What up? Remember, you're a little quiet for some reason, so speak up there and introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, denizens of the internet. It is your boy Byron D0, contributing writer, cosplayer, artist, and podcaster extraordinaire. When I'm not reviewing movies, or games, or conventions for Nerd Caliber, I run my own little podcast called the Weeb Trash Can Podcast, which is on iTunes, Google Play, and our own site at weebtrashcan at podomatic.com. And I also stream. I try to do it like a couple times a week. Tonight I will be streaming Twitch Sings at 9:30, not too long after this. So if you want to hear me serenade you for a couple songs, like a half an hour or so, please do join me. It'll be a good time.
Please do. BTS Human, we do know BTS. Charlize, no idea what you're talking about. So, Sarah, the Batman that has Mr. Freeze, Bane, and oh my God. The one with Mr. Freeze? Yeah, no. Suicide Squad, as awful as that movie was, Suicide Squad 100%. Jason, hello. Alrighty, folks. Let us get into our first topics here. And our very first one is that character right there. This is not, in fact, anything from League of Legends, although it has a very League of Legends look. That's the best image of the highest resolution I could get of Clea from the Doctor Strange comics. It's actually from apparently a Marvel card game. So, but the news is that Clea and Dr. Voodoo, this is from their game Champions. There's no really high-res images of these characters, which is really awful because they're so good characters, are rumored to be characters in the upcoming Doctor Strange 2. The rumors come from a single Twitter account that is a mystery account. Nobody knows who this person is. Roger Wardell is the name. But apparently this person had some actual legit plot elements for Avengers Endgame long before it came out. So either he got lucky and now he's trying to trade on it, or he actually does have inside source, and the movie is going to have Jericho Drumm, who is Dr. Voodoo, and Clea, who started out as the Doctor's apprentice, magic apprentice, and turned into quite an amazing character with connections to Dormammu and all sorts of crazy stuff in the Marvel magical universe.
Okay, I'm looking at some pictures of her now because I'm not too familiar with the character myself. She looks pretty dope. I am fairly familiar with Brother / Dr. Voodoo. He for a time was the Sorcerer Supreme, right?
That is correct. That's correct. He
Yeah.
held the title or held the position when Strange was not able to do it.
Mm. Yeah, that's right. I remember reading a couple of issues of the Avengers where he was Dr. Voodoo and had the Eye of Agamotto. It was some pretty interesting stuff. I'm excited to see if the MCU follows through with this.
I would like this rumor to be true for a couple of reasons. One, I really do like Dr. Voodoo or Brother Voodoo. I guess now he's Dr. Voodoo.
Yeah.
He's a character that has a fascinating backstory, and they've already introduced his brother, Daniel Drumm, who was, if you look at the IMDb credits, he was apparently the one who died defending the New York Sanctum Sanctorum when Caecilius killed him. So he's already there, folks, or at least his brother is already there. So, and Clea, I've had a crush on Clea since like 1972, when I first saw Frank Brunner's version of Clea in his run of the Doctor Strange comics. Dragon Wolf, it's not Dragon Wolf. It is, in fact, gotcha, Dragon Wolf. If you don't know the characters, you would only know the characters if you've been really paying attention to the Doctor Strange comics and the Doctor Strange universe. But for those of us that are huge Doctor Strange fans, this is big potential news.
Yes, it is.
But moving on to other big news, and this isn't potential, this is 100% guaranteed. In all of the crazy roster of TV announcements from the various cables and network shows, various networks and cable shows, Batwoman has been officially picked up, is on the schedule for CW. So for those of us like me who thought this was a done deal way back when and found out that it wasn't even a done pilot, and then when it was a done pilot, it wasn't even a done pickup, well, now it's been picked up. It is a pickup to a series. It will be on CW this coming fall.
Oh, boy. And I'm looking forward to it. Most certainly. I know a lot of ladies out there are looking forward to this, too, because, Ruby Rose is like every bi and lesbian girl's crush. And especially all my bi nerd girlfriends are like swooning right now. Oh, they're getting verklempt.
Yeah, as well they should. It's also a fascinating character. Sarah Batgirl looks different. Yeah, because it's not Batgirl Sarah, but good
It's
one.
Batwoman. Yep.
And Dragon Wolf, she was in Batman Bad Blood. That is correct. The character in the comics particularly has been written very, very well. Just a wonderful hero, bordering on anti-hero, but absolutely a fantastic representation for LGBTQ characters. And Kate Kane is wonderful, as wonderful, more wonderful, I think, out of the costume than Bruce Wayne is out of the Batman costume. Yeah, she does kind of have that poison ivy hair color. Um, that is in the comic. Her hair is so red; it's almost at times without any definition. It's like a bright red, just flow of flame, or
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
I'd
Uh,
say I say it's as red as the YouTube logo.
yeah, yeah. So that's why this is legit from the comic, toned down even a little bit, frankly. Greetings and salutations back to you, Ghostly Audios. Um, yeah, her appearance in the crossover event, the CW crossover event, where they debuted her last December was okay. It was good. That's what this image is from. It wasn't great. She was fantastic. Ruby Rocks plays her and was awesome. Ruby
Yes.
Rose. Sorry. Um, but the character was just short shrift. It was clearly just, hey, look, we're going to throw Batwoman in here so that you guys know that we're working on it.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Exactly. And so I'm hoping that the series, by the way, just as an aside, so this is one of the Greg Berlanti Productions products, like Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl and all that stuff. He also does Riverdale. He's doing the Riverdale spinoff, and a whole bunch of other things. God Friended Me is one of his shows. With these announcements of the Riverdale spinoff and this, Batwoman and one other, his production company has 17 shows in production. He set a record 2 years ago with 15. He now has beat his own record. TV is owned right now by Greg Berlanti.
It seems that way, doesn't it? Jesus, he certainly is ambitious.
He is ambitious, and his stuff is liked. So, yeah, Dragon Wolf. If you love Riverdale, it's one of his products. I bet you could look at like production designers and so on IMDb listings, and Berlanti shares probably 25 to 33% from show to show. But anyway, that was a cool aside. I remember seeing that come up in a note and going, "Oh wow!" All right, another new show. Does not have the title that you're seeing up here. So ABC has picked up what it is now calling the Kobe Smulders drama mystery, but it is in fact based on the graphic novel Stumptown by Greg Rucka and Matthew Southworth. It was called Stumptown until they made this announcement last week.
Really?
But we're going to call it Stumptown right now, and so the news is Stumptown has officially been picked up by ABC.
All right. For the folks at home, including myself, what is Stumptown about?
So Stumptown is a non-superhero type graphic novel. It is a mystery set in the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon. So hence the lumbering community, going back to the old traditions of lumber having built the cities like Seattle and Portland and so on. The character is Dex Perios, described as, quote, a strong, assertive, and sharp-witted Army veteran with a complicated love life, gambling debt, and a brother to take care of in Portland. So she's a private investigator and gets into a whole series of trouble in the private investigator world. Greg Rucka is an amazing writer, and this Stumptown, which in complete openness, I have not read, got fantastic reviews. It's won an awful lot of awards. So should be an awesome show.
From what you described, I'm getting strong vibes of like Jack Reacher.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not sure if it is called an action drama. So I guess there's definitely got to be some elements of that. I don't get the impression that it is quite that, hi, I'm OP Army veteran, I'm going to kill you all. but again, I don't know. So Ghostly Audio has read it. Audios has read it. Would you describe it, Ghostly, as sort of a Jack Reacher-esque? How actiony is this action drama? And I know we've got a time delay, so feel free to answer, when you can. Sebastian, hello. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
So I think we're going to move on. I hope they land back on the title Stumptown, whatever they think they're going to call it. They may have thought that was just a little too confusing, but no. Give the guys credit where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next topic, while we're waiting for Ghostly Audios to give us a description of it, if he can, or if they can, because we don't know who Ghostly Audios is. If you haven't seen the trailer for It Chapter 2, that's a very pleasant old lady who becomes a very unpleasant old lady in the chapter, or in the teaser. If you're into It and waiting for Chapter 2, watch the teaser. It's really scary. It's very interesting. But while we're talking about that, we're going to. It does have its moments, definitely. The story is somewhat along those lines, and the amount of development is absolutely amazing. Rucka is a really talented plotter of complicated and intricate stories, so I can see why that would be the case. And we know that Agent Maria Hill can kick ass, so.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, It is coming back, of course. Trailer, the teaser for Chapter 2 is out there. It has some pretty scary elements, like this. That's really just a matter of a guy with really red eyes rolling his eyes up in his head, but boy, it looks like he's peeling his face off. That's pretty disturbing.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. I gotta say, I kinda, knowing that Bill Hader is in it, and I know Bill Hader is a good, serious actor when he wants to be, I really want Stefan to show up. Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. That would be awesome.
I would definitely be entertained. I don't know how I'd feel in the long run, but I'd definitely be entertained.
I would be entertained. Yeah, obviously, we don't want Stefan to actually show up, although Stefan would probably do Pennywise a fair turn on scaring Pennywise.
Oh, God. Yes, he would.
But yeah, so check it out, folks. It looks really interesting. Looks like they've done a very good job. The adult cast looks fantastic. Oh, hey, I need to. So Byron, tell people about Weeb Trash Can Podcast while I quickly load up something I missed.
All right. Oh, so you want to know about Weeb Trash Can Podcast? Weeb Trash Can Podcast is me piling a group of my friends and talking about various anime subjects. We are doing our little anniversary series where for several weeks straight we post a different birthday episode that we've done from the past year as a reward for the patience from our lovely fans. We cover a specific favorite genre of each of the hosts. I started with my favorite genre, which was Battle Shonen. My Maggleby, the lone girl of the group right now, she did a queer representation. This past post was military anime by Megatron 007, and we're going to be rounding off with parody anime by Mechanical Mark, who is a great guy and has just a lot to say about the genre. We feed off pretty well. Yeah, we feed off pretty well on each other. Again, we're on Google Play, iTunes, and you can also go to weebtrashcan.podomac.com.
Do it, folks. Check it out. All right. Thank you, Byron, for that wonderful bit of vamping. While I brought up this image that I had completely forgot to load, and that is our next topic. Also, just dropping a new trailer is the sequel to Maleficent. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, or as I like to call it, Venom Part 2.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, come on, look at the outfit. Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously? if you look at the trailer, it's actually it looks really good. It looks like they've done a very interesting story. Um, the the characters that they show that are apparently either new to the story or just different interpretations that I don't quite get look really amazing. I love the design. Then again, I love the design of the original.
Oh yeah,
And it's got Michelle Pfeiffer. So
of course. You can't really go wrong with that, can you?
you can't. Um, uh, da, 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 we got somebody here who's dropping some cursing, so that person is about to go away.
Banhammer.
Hammer done be banned, or something. Um, Ghostly Audio says, I believe they should have left it the way it was, but I am interested in what it has to offer. I'm guessing you're still, are you still on? No, because you talked about the podcast. So, Ghostly, when you say leave it the way it was, are we talking about it, or are we talking about Maleficent's sequel? Or are we, in fact, still talking about Stumptown? The problem with delays like this, Ghostly, can't really tell. But some of the news about this Maleficent trailer, where are we?
Oh yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Ghostly Audios, about the first Maleficent. It was there were some questionable choices made, like turning King Stefan into a raving psychopath.
Yeah, so I don't think that something like the Sleeping Beauty story if you're doing the Maleficent tale, then I don't think you necessarily need to stick to everything completely character accurate about the original Sleeping Beauty.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I like the fact that the movie took risks. It's just I feel like with things like the choice to turn Stefan into like this lunatic, that was grasping for straws.
Yeah,
They could. I mean, if they're going to make him antagonistic, there were better ways to do it.
yeah, that's true. I can see that. It's just if you're making it Maleficent story, you've got to have something or somebody that's bad enough to make her turn into what she was.
That's fair.
So, and if it's not somebody that's already in the story, then you've got to come up with a whole different antagonist. And
Oh no, absolutely.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. And I'm with Ghost. I'm intrigued and interested to see where they go with it. The production design, the CG has advanced in 5 years so much that it really shows. It was fantastic, or I thought it was fantastic. We all did 5 years ago. It's so much better if you look at like the treatment of the wings and so on this time around.
Absolutely. Those wings. Yep. It like she looks chilling with those wings, especially when she's addressing these new characters.
Oh yes, yes. Very. If I didn't know better, well, do you? What? Know better. Great line. Ghostly Audios. Disney has recently tried to make twists to the story, and I don't really love it all, but it is an interesting way of changing the story and making it something else. The way it ended was great. Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes you make changes just for the sake of making changes, and that's, don't do it. If it doesn't service the story and the way you want to have the story told, then a change just for the sake of a change it's pointless.
I'm looking forward to seeing her character grow as an anti-hero.
All right, now moving on to way even beyond any complaints anybody might have about redo or sequel to Maleficent or anything. One of the most controversial concepts out there, and that is the HBO series The Watchmen, or just Watchmen. The image that just popped up there, folks. This is I've read his name 7,000 times and I still can't remember it. It is, in fact, Looking Glass, and Tim Blake Nelson, who was awesome in the first, as in fact Buster Scruggs in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. If you haven't seen that from the Coen brothers on Netflix, go watch it. It's amazing. But he plays Looking Glass. We of course have Jeremy Irons is playing an older version of Ozymandias. This doesn't. It's not set in 1985. It's set in at least modern times, if not maybe old or more in the future. And Regina King plays a masked vigilante named Angela Abraham.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Tom Mison plays somebody named Mime. So I really hope they don't dress up just like a mime, but you never know. Um, but it looks great. It looks interesting. It is being done by Damon Lindelof. And
What's he done?
Lost.
All
So he's
right.
responsible for the end of Lost. Prometheus. He wrote the script for Prometheus. These are the bad things. He's done some stuff that really took off, and of course, the first few seasons of Lost.
I actually never got into Lost, but
Yeah, it's something that went on way too long, and kind of like maybe Game of Thrones is getting to. Somebody went, "Hey, we need to wrap this up. Let's think of a way."
right.
And the need to wrap up did not properly service the rest of the story, and the many seasons that were before it. Sounds familiar.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's other than that, it is really fascinating. And if you're a fan of Watchmen, where it's set and how and what the story setting is really interesting. It is everything that happened in Watchmen, the comic book, and Lindelof makes this very clear that they are
So it's after the squid.
after the squid.
Yeah.
Spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen the Watchmen movie from 10 years ago or however long ago it was. But in the comic book, the big disaster at the end is not created specifically by Dr. Manhattan. It is created created by Ozymandias to make it look like it was Dr. Manhattan. It is created by Ozymandias, but it's the teleportation from another dimension of the psychic monstrous squid that kills everybody in New York in its dying throes, psychically just burns out all their brains. As opposed to a huge Dr. Manhattan type explosion. So if Dr. Manhattan appears in this series, and there's hints that he will in some of the teaser stuff they've put out, then he isn't necessarily going to be the huge villain that people would think of him 20 years on. You know, he might still be a villain because you get the impression that Rorschach's notebook came out, and that's why, like, the police are wearing masks and so on. They know the story about Ozzy and how he manipulated the world, or at least it might have come out and it was hidden. But anyway, and if that's the case, then they may think of him as a bad guy because he let Ozzy do it, but he's not a world-destroying villain, which is the way they would view him at the end of the movie.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in seeing where this goes because, I mean, yeah, I've read the graphic novel, I've seen the movie, and the whole idea of like trying to bring mankind on one page by having someone to hate. It's like you have to wonder, like, where do you go from there?
Yep.
What happened? Yeah, and it'll be great to see what happens from here. You know, I bet Alan Moore is like wriggling in his seat right now at the prospect of it.
Oh yeah, because Alan Moore, and he said this: you should not make any adaptations of any of his works at all. Period.
Did he say that to his imaginary friend?
Nice joke, Mr. Krikowian. I'm sorry, I thought it was Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. Okay. Well done. Luminous, I watched the HBO Watchmen trailer, and for me it did not resemble the Alan Moore graphic novel at all. So far, I'm very disappointed. And before we comment on that, Ghostly Audios had to leave. Have a good evening if you're still on, Ghostly Audios. If not, have a good evening anyway.
Take care.
So Luminous, if you heard my description, they are specifically not making it as an adaptation, another adaptation of the graphic novel. It is, the way Lindelof described it is, the graphic novel was the Old Testament. It happens, it informs everything that happens in the New Testament. Everything that happened in the graphic novel is referenced. It's something that happened in the past of this new series, but it is the new series. So it's all new story with many new characters and a few carryovers like Ozymandias. And possibly Dr. Manhattan.
Hmm. So don't expect any Silk Spectre, don't expect any Night Owl.
Nope. But he also said that just like Watchmen was very much a social product of its time, and it, reflected on what was going on in the mid to late 1980s as an alternate universe story. His series is very much a reflection of what's going on today.
Ooh.
So in the graphic novel, there's just a casual mention of the fact that Silhouette was lesbian, and then you actually see a more graphic depiction of it where, in the movie where she kisses a woman on the street at the end of World War II, replicating the soldier or the Navy guy picture. You can assume that LGBTQ aspect of society is going to be a much, much bigger part of this upcoming series. Lumina says he'll wait for reviews of the Watchmen series. He did like Lost. Well, that makes one of us, Luminous. Or I should say, I liked much of it right up until the end, right up until the last season, and then particularly the very end. The reveal at the end was just cheap. But anyway, we had a short roster of things to cover tonight. One last thing about Watchmen. You may not want to watch it, but you're probably going to want to listen to it. Trent Reznor and his partner, who's done other work with him, Atticus Ross, Social Network, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, they're going to be doing the soundtrack.
That'll definitely be interesting.
Yes. So if nothing else, it'll have banging music. It'll be a banger, as they say over there on the other side of the pond. And with that note, thank you, folks, for joining us for this. We somehow managed to pull it off edition of Nerd Week Live. I'm Rodney Brown, the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. If you are at all interested as a photographer or a cosplayer in joining us throughout the rest of this week or this coming weekend here on Cape Cod, South Wellfleet, the South Fleet Motor Inn, is where I'm broadcasting from right now. It's right out that window. The weather this end of this week and this coming weekend is supposed to be much better than it is right now. And the weather this past weekend was freaking gorgeous. Nobody on the beaches down here at this time. And there are at least 5 beaches within 5 miles of where I'm sitting right now. Bayside, Atlantic side, literally no more than a 5-minute drive. You could walk to them if you wanted to take like 30 minutes. Anyway, so if you do, check out the event page. The information on that is on the Nerd Caliber Facebook page, facebook.com/nerdcaliber. And hopefully some of you come down and see it. We got a few people that are definitely coming down, but we definitely could use some more. Joining me tonight, Byron D0.
Hello. Goodbye.
Weeb Trash Can Podcast. Check it out on your favorite podcast listening service. And Twitch Sings.
Woo! 9:30 tonight. EST.
9:30 tonight. And that is also twitch.com/twitch.tv. Byron D0.
Yes.
Thank you, folks, for joining us in the chat. You guys have a lovely evening. And we will see you next week if we don't see some of you this coming weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.